A few months ago, I built a camera slider, and it's been incredibly useful. It also taught me a ton about Arduino coding, which I knew absolutely nothing about when I first started. The only problem is, after a few uses, and it only being able to go in a straight line, it got a little bit stale. And to be completely honest, I originally wanted to go and use this camera slider for some YouTube videos about my Miata, but upstate New York just hasn't had a spring yet, so how about we go and focus on making this camera slider the ultimate camera slider. So the goal is to add a panning head on top of the project that we've already built. If you haven't seen that video, please click the link above or down in the description and you can see version 1. There's just one problem with my plan. Integrating new features into code that I barely understand, using only ChatGPT, is a terrible idea. To be completely honest, I knew that, but I did it anyway. So before anything, I gave ChatGPT the code that I already wrote for version 1, and then asked if what I wanted adding the panning head was even possible. It said yes, and I just trusted it. So I bought the parts. For this camera slider to be useful, it still needed to be light and compact, and not much bigger than it already was. So I went with a NEMA 14 stepper driver, slightly smaller than the one that I used on the main slider, and a small bearing. Like version 1, I measured all of the parts that I bought, and then designed all the 3D printed parts around them. This is something that I've gotten really good at over the years, and I really enjoy this process. Once I had some rough 3D models, I saw that it mostly fit, and in the end, I didn't even have to reprint these parts many times. Here is the assembled pan head. The bottom platform here has been updated to no longer have a camera directly mounted to it. Now on the back side of the slider here, we have a motor mount with slotted holes to go and make sure we can tension the belt, and a large platform for the Lazy Susan bearing to screw into. The upper part is also screwed in the same way. This right here will transfer the power from the motor. I also want to add that we have a drag chain here. That right there is carrying the 4 wires from the motor, and it's connected to the bottom of the motor mount and also to the middle of the tripod. This ensures that the motor's cables don't get tangled into anything once it's moving back and forth. So this meant it was time for code. And this is where everything fell apart. I slowly started adding features using ChatGPT, and once I did that, almost everything broke. I would add one feature, it would break 2 others. I would fix those 2, and then more problems would happen. The slider crashed into itself multiple times. So after like 20 uploads of Arduino IDE to try to get this thing to finally work, I was at my wit's end. I realized I just couldn't trust the code anymore. And like I said, I have no idea how to fix this once we got to this point. So instead of actually learning how to fix the code, I just jumped ship and changed my AI. I asked Google, hey, which AI is the best for coding? And it said Claude. What I did was I gave Claude a generic summary of what I wanted in the previous code that somewhat worked. And pretty quickly, it figured out all of the issues that I had. At that point, it became more about figuring out the logic of the actual slider than having to go and fix a bunch of past mistakes. So, this is how it works. So we still have the Ryobi battery here, and now the main power switch is on the front to make it a little bit easier. We have an LED to tell us when it's on, just like that, so I don't kill the battery. The slider works exactly the same as it did before. You click the start stop and you control the direction. We click that and it'll go and bring it all the way over until it hits the limit switch. For the new panning head, we're gonna go and click pan on off, and we'll automatically move the carriage to the left side every single time. Once the carriage makes it all the way to the left limit switch, pan set 1 will flash. That right there will allow us to go and control which way the camera is pointed when it's at this limit switch. This speed controller is now also the pan control, so we can use it as a little bit of a controller. If we want to go and turn it left, or turn it right. We're gonna go and say, let's point this right here at you guys, like that. There's a dead zone in the very middle where it stops, and you can go and control it from there. I will click pan set 1, and then we'll automatically move to the other end. Now we got pan set 2 flashing, so now we can control it using the knob again. And what we're gonna do is, again, move the head, going to be pointing at you guys. Now that it's set, boom, panning is locked in. Now we can go and control the slider as is, and the head will automatically interpolate where it's supposed to go and be along this slider. Let's go and change the direction. Let's go and turn the speed way up, and we'll click start. And as we can see, the pan head moves along the slider. So I change direction, it'll do it the same way. It doesn't matter how fast or slow it is, it will interpolate it between the two limit switches. And now we have smooth, consistent motion. Let's bring this right to the middle, and we have one last feature that we want to add here. Stop in the middle. If we want this to go and be pan only, we're gonna go and actually go and use the bounce button. So the bounce is no longer bounce. That right there was a gimmicky feature I don't need. So we're gonna go and lift that up. It's gonna be pan only. It's going to lock out the slider portion of this, and we'll click pan head on. It's gonna tell us, hey, where do you want pan 1 to be set? So we'll go and point it in this direction here, click, and then it's gonna go directly to pan set 2. We'll go and use the potentiometer to control it, and we'll flip it over the opposite way. We'll click that. So it'll move between the different positions. So now we can control this just as we do with the rest of the slider, and the speed can be dialed in. I think that makes sense. I hope it makes sense to you, because I don't know. It took me a long time to actually figure out how the logic of this was gonna work. So looking at it now, the whole system is just as compact as it was. It's still easy to use, at least to me, and way more capable. For now, I think this just might be the ultimate camera slider for me. But you tell me, what do you think? Thanks for watching.